Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here, and in just a moment, we're going to be looking at some hands that I've played so far since starting playing 50NL, where I have called rivers. I think river play is probably the most difficult streak to play. I think we all maybe call just a little bit too often in spots where we could fold or raise. And yeah, hopefully, I'm going to see some stuff today, do some stuff in GTO Wizard, and maybe improve this area just a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get into the hands. We're going to try and look at all of these in GTO Wizard. Some of them probably won't be GTO spots, even though I've tried to filter so most of them will be. So here we've got the two tens. We've opened. We've been called by the button. This is a spot where I'm typically going to check range. I'm looking at this villain, and he's pretty passive post flop. So maybe against this guy, we shouldn't be we should just see bet. We can't know. There's not enough hands to check what his villain his bottom call rate looks like. So maybe this is a mistake from the off from me. Sometimes I'll probably set myself up for spots where I decide to bluff catch when I could have taken different lines earlier in the hand. Maybe we should just be c betting against this particular player because he's just not going to bluff very often based on these post flop bet frequencies. I do check, unsurprisingly. Villain checks back. We turn a set. We bet. He raises. So he's basically trying to say he's got two pair plus here. Straights like 9-7, Queen 9, which are entirely possible in a 53-14 range. He's also very passive. I think against some opponents, I would just three bet this, get it in, and just deal with it when they've got a straight, we've got equity to a board, etc. But against a really passive villain like this, I'm quite nervous that we don't have the best hand, but we certainly can't fold. But I think maybe three betting here would be maybe a bit of a punt against this particular player. We elect to call. River puts a four liner, and I'm ready to just check fold. But then villain bets this size. And I would imagine when there's basically just pot left, that straights would jam. Why wouldn't a straight jam? It makes no sense for a straight to make this size, so I just decided to call in this instance. Maybe we could even jam for super thin value against a whale. That'd be a stretch too far. But we beat some hands here. We beat like a slow played pocket eights. We beat some two pairs. I mean, it's hard to have some two pairs where the 10 improved him because we block it, and he did raise a turn. So look at the 10 improved him somehow on the turn. Maybe he has Jack 10, 10 8. Don't know. But we can't fold getting this price with the set. I don't think we can anyway. I elected to call, and in this instance, remember this hand, I played it last night. The villain actually just raised the turn with an open ender, which, with these aggression stats, I didn't think would be a feature of his game. But it was. It just goes to show the danger of small samples, and also shows the danger of like trying to read fish sometimes. Because I just didn't credit this guy for being able to like semi bluff the turn with his stats. I presumed his turn raise would just be value only, or mostly just value. And whereas we beat some value, we don't beat some other value. This is not a particularly well played hand from me. It's easy now in hindsight to look at it and say, yeah, we should have just jammed the turn. The guy only had an open ender, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think reviewing this one in GTO was just going to be a nonsense because of the player type we're up against. But we'll do it anyway. And we have a non-existing GTO spot because I've apparently blundered the turn. So let's see what it wanted us to do on the turn. It's more than happy for us to check this flop. Turn, it wants us to check again, which I wouldn't be willing to do against this particular player type. And I think even though it's not wanting us to bet, I think against this player, it's more than fine to bet. You get raised, and it is just wanting us to jam. So we're not going to analyse a river spot because we just butchered it too much. And yes, we're not learning much about what we're hoping to learn here, which is should I have called the river because we should have just jammed the turn. I think I'm inclined to agree. So on to the next one. Ace Queen. We open. Get 3-bet by a decent reg, in my opinion. He now leads, which is very odd. Oh no, it's not very odd. Sorry, it's a 3-bet pot. Sorry, I thought it was a single raise pot. It was very normal. I think we just have a call here. Checks turn. Yeah, we should just bet. I get the feeling I'm not going to bet. I think we should just bet here. Value. I mean, what do we get value from in this spot? 9s, 10s, jacks, king, queen, queen, jack suited. Obviously, we'll lose to queens, kings, and aces. I think we should just bet this turn and the size because we're going to review this one in GTO. So what size should I go here? I don't think we want to be going too big. But I think our hand's worth more than small bet. It's going to be an interesting one to review, actually. Because these are spots that I'm not super comfortable with, where we've faced a 3-bet, we've called a small bet, and then villains check turn. I'm always paranoid that a check raise is going to be coming with like an overpair. I'm always like thinking, well, are they really going to call with worse? They have like probably plenty of ace king here, things that just aren't in happy spots. I think maybe bet here and somewhere between 1/3 and half pot. I obviously don't do it. 9 river. Willem now bets half pot, and I think we can probably raise here actually versus half pot. Yeah, I think I'm going to get told off by the wizard here. Maybe we can raise this river. This is going to be a fun hand for me to review because turn should be a bet, I think, and river maybe should be a raise as played. I did just call, and villain turned up with the ace deuce. So we've got an inaccuracy here, and it's on the turn. I'm not surprised that it's on the turn. That was the spot I had the most doubt in. River, we got the 2 ticks, so it's not wanting to raise. So it wants us to jam here sometimes. In fact, not sometimes. It's wanting us to mostly jam here. I'm not sure I love that against this population. Who maybe against like the actual like proper good regs. Probably okay. Against some of the tighter regs, I think it's probably going to be punting. We do call. He wants us to raise flop versus this size. Check turn. He just wants us to bet big. Wow, my sizing was off. And river, it's just calling. It's not wanting raise river, which so basically at every point during this hand, I've done the right thing here, but I was wondering if we could raise turn. I was thinking maybe we should bet, but bet small, and he just wanted bigger. Is it bet calling off on the turn? If we did bet the 75% on the turn, it wanted us to bet. When button goes all in. Yeah, ace queen is just, well, it's mixing. And I think once the machine starts mixing, we probably want to start folding against population because population won't be finding enough of the bluffs here. Like villain, the machine's jamming all of these hands. Do I think villains are finding the ace jack suited here? Am I looking at this the right way? It's because it shouldn't have jams. Is it because it shouldn't? I don't fucking know. I'm fucking dog shit at this. Check. This is the turn one night we check. We bet 33. Did we? I know. I was butchering it. We bet 33 on the turn. No, we don't. Reg, stop being a fucking idiot. We bet 33. Their jam and their jamming range is this. Now we've got it. So do I think 10-8 suited plays this way, for example? No. Ace-5 suited? No. Not with humans. Like Ace-7 off? No. Ace-6 off? Barely then, no. So we start, like, if we've got here, like, basically a mix of a call, which means it's basically, like, indifferent, neutral EV, I think we could just safely bet fold this turn. Yes, because once solver starts mixing, which it is here, it's basically mixing between call and fold. And this is what the machine's range looks like. When we start getting rid of some of these hands, like I think ace, queen, king, queen do it. This, all this region does it, which we're beating some of this. Do I think this does it? Maybe. Do I think this exists? Probably not. This definitely isn't playing this way, in my opinion, anywhere near the frequency it is here. Ace-5 isn't doing this. So yeah, I think like just bet big, fold to jam is something nice to take from this. Just knowing that when we peel flop and they check turn, we can just bet big and fold to raise most of the time, because if the machine's indifferent, then we shouldn't be indifferent. We should just have pure folds, in my opinion. On to no, that's not what I wanted to look at, is it? On to the next one. What a clusterfuck this video is. Open the ace-10 suited. Call from a fish in the big blind. Check. This should be a range bet. This villain does probe turn 60% over a small sample. So I guess I'm going to check this back at least sometimes so I can defend against probes. He does probe turn. We call. And he bets small river. And I think our hand's too thin to raise. So we just call. And villain had a bluff. I don't think there's much to look at there with that one. I know it's going to want me to range bet the flop some of the time. Not well, when we say range bet, we just mean all the time. Well, I don't think the flop's going to be a pure bet. I think there is going to be some checking. Yeah, not going to look at that one. Jack 10, open, call. If we check here, it should be with the intention of check raising. We don't. That's bad, Reg. That is bad. Don't know why I've done this. This is why we do these reviews, because this should just be, if we're checking this hand, it should be with the intention to raise it. Check again. He bets too big. Surely we're going to raise now. Reg, what are you doing, mate? This is just not good. And what a load of value we missed out on. This is not good from me. I'm glad this hand's come up. It doesn't paint me in a very good light. It paints me in a fucking horrendous light, to be frank. Because I think we should just check raise that flop, bet turn, bet big river. That's just be how that hand's played. Yeah, this guy's got the like relatively aggressive post flop stats, but he's a fucking fish. He's just gonna like with this exact hand, he's gonna put all the money in. With draws, he's gonna bet call. With 10x, he's gonna bet call. Jack X is gonna bet call. This is bad from me. I expect I'm gonna get my ass kicked here, and deservedly so. And what do we know? We get 2 ticks the whole way. So the first hand I think I played really badly, and we get 2 ticks the whole way. Fucking hell, this game's complicated. Check. Bet. He wants us to call 80% of the time. Turn. Check. Bet. It is mixed. It's starting to mix raise. I think this is where we maybe should definitely raise. Because if this is like mixing raising against a well balanced range, against a fish's range here, it's just going to want to raise a lot more often, I imagine. So even though we've got 2 ticks here, I stand by my not being happy with the line. River check. He now bets 8, and it doesn't want any raises whatsoever on this river. Probably because like some better 2 pairs now exist. Straight exists in multiple different ways, and we can't get called by worse. Although again, against a fish, I just think we can get called by worse. Yeah, so I thought I was going to get a bollock in there, and we actually got a well played, Reg. What a fucking game! Ace Jack off, open, call by some asshole short stacker. This one's not. We're not going to put this one in the wizard because of its stack size. Check, check, bet, call, call. Yeah, whatever. That doesn't stand to review. The guy King 7. This guy is a quote unquote pro short stack. He buys him for 30 bigs. He doesn't top his stack. Basically, he's just a fucking disease, an absolute disease of a player. He gets it all in pre for like 9 bigs when he blinds down that far. Then he snap cashes out every time. He's an absolute fucking disgrace of a player. He's on the table just wasting everyone's fucking time. Hopefully wasting his own time. I hope this strategy doesn't make money for him because it'd make me fucking want to puke if it does. He's just a disgusting waste of time wanker. And I've had worse thoughts about him that I'm not going to repeat on YouTube. But I think it was Saturday night when he was just at every table I was at and he was just there doing this shit, just knitting it up, short stacking. Just fuck off, mate. I had some, even though he didn't do me much damage or any damage, I still had some very dark and unpleasant thoughts about him. Yeah, I was thinking of the worst possible things that could happen to him and then hoping. For example, I think one of my thoughts was, I hope this guy gets hit by a bus but doesn't die and is just left as a fucking head. Nothing else. He can't move the rest of his body, but I hope he also has a ravenous sexual appetite that he cannot fulfill and he's in massive fucking anguish with that every day. And I hope he lives until he's a fucking 100. Fuck you, you wanker. Anyways, we opened the Queen 9 suited. Out of position against a fish. We're not going to bet this board. Whether we should or not, I'm not going to. I just typically I just range check out of position for a simplification. He bets 1 big blind. Oops, this guy's float bet stat is just 40%. It's kind of like probably in line with how often you either flop a made hand or a draw. So it's not too out of line with it. We're obviously not folding 2 overs in the backdoor flush draw. Maybe against 1 blind exactly, we can check raise, which is what we do. Villain calls. Turn a flush draw. I don't know what the machine would do. This is going to be another interesting one for what the machine would do. Although it's not going to let us do it because it's called from the cut. It's going to say it's an non-existing GTO spot. But we'll try anyway. Probably just barrel the turn. He calls. We river a pair. We now check because we have some showdown value. And now villain bets full pot, representing a flush and a 6. I think this is such an easy fold. the villain can have some 6x. He can have loads of flushes. Versus pot size bet on the end here. What will have led me to call? He will have been this 50% bet river and won, showing me that this guy does have either value bets too thinly or just has bluffs. That would have been what made me call here. And he did have the bluff with the deuce 3. I don't think he's going to let us do this one, but we'll take a look. No, it's a non-existing GTO spot, so what we'll do is we'll make out that he's called from the button, because then it will let us run the hand. Fold, and the board was 6-4 of hearts, 6 of clubs. Let's clear these filters. So it's just doing a lot of range checking here. It's checking like 73% of range. Queen 9 suited. Excuse me, it's just basic. Yeah, it's just pure checking. So we do check. Villain bets, we've got to say this because the smallest bet possible. Queen 9 of clubs is just always folding. So we're not going to be able to do it. Never mind. We on to the next one because he min bet and he was a whale, so we're just not going to get any meaningful result from GTO Wizard on that one. Heads up spot. Right, I need to check this guy's name a minute because this could be against someone from last night who was mental. It wasn't. It's a different villain. We can't fold anything versus mean 3-bet. We're also not going to be able to do this in the wizard, so whatever, move along. Or maybe we are, but it's going to be such a nonsense result because of his size. Now he bets 10 big blinds. This guy's wild. Absolutely wild. I think we can make a case for just raising and running it now against someone with these stats. Hey, let's just call. Turn king. He now checks. We check back. Rupert ace. He bets 1 big, right? Okay, this sounds just nonsense. So whatever. Move along. He had the queen 9. Ace 7 off. Call out the small blind. Flop 2 pairs. Check. Bet. Call. Turn a club. Check. I think against small blind here, just bet again because he's just not going to have very many flushes, theoretically. In practice, maybe he does because he's a fish. I think probably just bet again. We do. He calls. River king of clubs. And now he leads half pot. We've got this stat here, but it's not really particularly useful. Versus just half pot, we just don't fold bluff catchers. So we just call. And he had the 10-8. Whatever. Not too concerned by that one. Open 3-bet call. 10-10-9. Check. Range bet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I don't because this guy does a lot of turn probing and I like to make sure I've got a pretty robust calling range versus these people who do a lot of turn probing. Maybe this one just wants to bet though because it's not a hand that's going to want to call down too often. So maybe we just range bet this one and just like for simplicity's sake. Turn 10, he checks. Don't think we need to bluff this hand. We just have plenty of showdown value. River 7, he bets really big. And I think we have an easy fold. And we call. That's a mistake. It might not be a mistake in theory. Let's see. So we're getting 1 tick. Likes everything until the river. And then river's probably going to be mixing some fold, I imagine. Yeah. Okay. Again, once like in my opinion, once the machine is mixing, we should just start pure folding. If the machine's indifferent against itself, then I guess we want to be leaning heavily towards fold, even versus maniacs. Raise, call. Could range but or check back here. Go with check back. Turn villain probes. I think we can just start folding now, probably. This guy does probe 43%. And he does have a 1 when bet river of just 50%, which tells me this guy does have bluffs in range. I think this is kind of thinnish in terms of like, do we beat much? But we can improve on the river. We can just have the best hand. And this player is capable of bluffing, so I decided to call. River, he now goes big. Basically saying he has at least 9x. I don't think a 7's doing this for this size. So it's basically kind of polarized, saying like I've got 9x or better. You can probably have stuff like 10-8, 10 jack. What else can 10-8? What are the good shots that missed? Oh, the open enders. 10-8's an open ender. 8-6 is an open ender. Then he can have stuff like 10-8. Jack 10. Yeah, I don't hate this call down against this particular player. And we won against ace 10. Let's see what the machine's doing there. So getting 1 tick from the machine again. It wanted just to range bet flop, I guess. Yeah, just range bet flop, fine. It is mixing some checking there, but it is primarily range betting. And then the rest of the hand, fine. Okie dokie. Queen Jack, opening, button calling. Everyone's getting out of the way. 6, 9, 8. I already know I'm going to defer to checking. Although against somebody with these aggression stats, maybe just c betting. We have a hand that's got a relatively easy check call on flop, but he continues his aggression down the streets, and we just don't want to get like how often do we check call, etc. I think maybe he against these aggressive guys just simplify to like betting more, because he does fold quite a lot versus bet, and then he bets quite a lot. So I think as an exploit of this player's tendencies, maybe betting is going to be better than checking, because we don't have a hand that can really take a lot of heat. We do check, he bets pot, we can't fold. Turn a queen, and against an aggressive guy here, we're just not folding. He downsizes, which is good news. River 3, check. He now bets full pot on the river. I think versus pot, we can probably just fold, even though this guy is clearly way out of line. He's playing a 93 VPIP. 93 VPIP. He's basically his button calling range is 90%. And no, we can't. This guy's just got too many hands. We can't fold. The guy's got 90% of hands in range pre-flop. No, we can't fold here. Yeah, the 9-3 offsuit. Okay. Not going to stick that one in the wizard because it's just nonsense hand, isn't it? King 9. Open defend. This is against the same guy, it looks like. Yeah, it is. He donks half pot. He donks 54% of his hands. I mean, this is clearly a nonsense donk. I think the guy can have like deuce X here. He can have draws that we just fold door reg probably. What are we doing here? Then we turn a pair. Now we're just going to station the guy. Half pot's river. We lose to everything. I mean, this is a mess. It's a mess of a hand. We should just fold here for almost for certain. He's triple barreled. He can have infinite ace-x in range. Probably have some flushes. Definitely have straights. Just such an easy fold. And he had the ace-9. That's me just getting really fucking stubborn with Wales. Ace-jack, open, small blind call. Check. This guy probes 50% turn, so probably just range bet. I need to get better at looking at this. Against these players that range bet turn a lot, check back hands that can call down and just start over bluffing with hands that can't. So then we would probably just range bet here. We didn't. He does probe turn. We call. He does bet river. We call. Villain has just a jack 7 suited. So again, we had a hand there that probably shouldn't call down in theory, but we are like trying hard to exploit. But I just don't think this hand's strong enough to do this with as like a strategy. This is just ace jack when all said and done. It's just ace high. I prefer doing this with like 5x or some kind of pair than with ace high. I mean, it worked out this time, but what I'm getting from looking at these is I'm not looking hard enough in game at people's like stats to try and exploit them. Because I think there again, someone who's just going to be probing a lot on turns. We just want to be just betting all of our air against them. I think just having them fold, and because we're just going to have to overfold to their turn probes too often when they're going to start like probing their air into us. We're not going to be able to review this one in the wizard. We go with squeeze here. I think we can fold or squeeze. My red tag, which you rarely see at 20L, is for regs who I think are probably quite good. We pick up a cold call. We should probably just range bet this, but I'm pretty sure I won't. He checks back. Check turn. He checks back. Check river. He now bets full pot. And as played, we can't fold. And we weren't getting him to fold at any point. But what I'm learning from this is maybe I'm overdoing the range checking, especially versus fish. I need to put some more thought into my range check strategy because I know that's just what I'm doing. My c bet is like pretty fucking low because out of position, I'm just checking everything nearly all of the time. And yeah, this is a spot where if we'd have like c bet flop checked, we would have lost more money or at least the same amount of money against this exact hand. But yeah, I need to revisit my range check strategy out of position versus fish for certain. Not sure why I've min opened here. Probably just a misclick. Against a reg here, we should just range bet. We don't. This is really bad. Turn a 10. He probes, we call. River. He bets. We call. And the reason I'm happy calling here is because like in mass data, when like villains like probe turn relatively small and then barrel through on river, it's an overbluff spot. And we have a bluff catcher, so we just call. And he does have a bluff here. I'm going to look at this one and see just how bad my flop check back was. And again, one that I think I've slaughtered. By checking back this flop, we're just going to get in 2 ticks the whole way. We played this close to perfectly. It is wanting more bets than checks, so I was right in terms of we should bet this flop, but check is the highest frequency of the options when we narrow them down to using different sizes. But it does want more betting than checking. Not by a lot, to be fair. Turns just a pure call. River just a pure call. Happy days. So river there. Sorry, last hand. Ace Jack. 2 big blinds. Call. Check. Surely we're betting this one. Yes, we bet small. I think against a fish, probably just bet bigger than this. He calls. Turn 6, check. We're going to double barrel, and we're probably going to size up on this double flush draw board. We go pot. He calls. River 10, check. Just value bet again. Bigger edge. Bigger. I think I prefer 75% pot here on the river, like something in the region of 15 blinds. Willen check raises. And he's got a 33% won when bet river. It's a different stat because this is now a check raise on the river, so it's like very polar. Whereas this is going to involve merges, etc. But overall, this guy is like pretty aggro on rivers. He's like his aggression, his bet frequency, or however you want to look at it, his aggression virtually doubles on rivers. I don't hate call when 2 draws are missed. Bill on that river 2 pair. So I'm going to guess we have some inaccuracies in this one. I don't think we're going to get a flat out blunder, but I think we might get some inaccuracies. Oh, we got a... Oh, it's a non-existing G. Why is it a non-existing GTO spot? When does it become non-existent? Turn. Turn becomes non-existent, which I'm surprised at. Bet. Call. So what's it wanting on? It's wanting check or just bet 50. It never uses big bet here, which I'm surprised at because I just thought on these 2-tone boards we just went like pretty big with our bets. So there we go. River is just going to tell us everything's all right because it's non-existing. Yeah, it's not giving a fuck. Look, yeah, do what you want, mate, because you fucked it so badly on the turn. I don't think the turn is a fuck up here against the fish. We could just get called for large bets by loads of worse hands. Yeah, I'm not having this one. I'm rejecting the wizard's opinion on this particular one. So there we go. Bit of a clusterfuck of a video, to be honest. Hands that I thought I played badly, it turns out I didn't play too badly. Hands I thought I played well, it turns out I played badly. It does go to show the importance of study, though. Something that I don't do enough of in terms of like studying theory. I've just been like ploughing on heavily, just trying to implement the stuff I picked up from mass data. And to be honest, it's going so well that I'm not planning on changing that very much. Because it has gone really well. Like my win rate at 15L so far is like 15 bigs 100 over, like less than 10,000 hands. So absolute ridiculous sample. Can't draw any conclusions from that. And long term, I know my win rate isn't going to be that. It's probably going to settle down at being like 6 or 7, I would imagine, which I'd be delighted with, for the record. Yeah, I think I need to study more just to. Well, firstly, against regs. Regs 3-bet pots is an area I need a lot of studying, especially now I'm playing against some regs who have more 3-bets, who are clearly trying to play a theory-based game, not getting it right all the time, of course, because they're just 15L regs and they're not fucking Isaac Haxton or Jason Kuhn, but they're trying at least, you know. There was a hand last night where a reg, I'm surprised it didn't show up in this actually, where a reg check raised me. He called the small blind with the fish in the big blind. Check raised me on ace 4 deuce. I called with that. I think it was ace queen. Turn was a break. He barreled, but he brought a flush draw. And then river completed the flush. He jammed, and I just didn't believe him, and I called. The river was an ace. I had like trip aces, flush possible. I thought, given he called out the small blind, he was just basically repping just deuces and fours. Um, and I just called him because he just repping too thin. Didn't think he'd have flushes very often because even though he called from the small blind because of fish in the big blind, I think still his range is going to be mostly just pocket pairs there. I think he's still going to three bet quite actively. Anyway, it turns out he had pocket pairs, and I thought he played the hand quite well, and it turns out he completely butchered the river. He just shouldn't have jammed it. But we won the pot. We were happy. So yeah, I definitely need to do some proper study in three bet pots versus regs because I think I need to play a lot more. I think I need to understand theory and how it works a lot better there and try and play a lot closer to it against regs. We can also still use the mass data stuff against regs. That's another thing I need to study, which I haven't picked up from this video. My main takeaway from this video has been my range checking strategy out of position, and it needs some work, particularly when out of position against passive fish. It's just not good. It's just leaving money on the table. But anyways, that's been another Friday video. It's been a full house, 5 weeks, 5 days of videos this week. Next week, I've already recorded 3 888 sessions to come out next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 25 and L. I'm hoping to be able to do a video charting this week's results, although we've looked at some of these hands now. So we might not have a weekly review video next week because it's half term, it's Easter holidays. I work more and I work during the times where I usually make videos, etc. I tend not to make videos when Dawn's in the house. Dawn being my current wife. So there might not be one. I'll try and make one, but there might not be one. And if there is, it might end up being later in the week rather than earlier in the week. But it doesn't matter because no more than 100 or so of you guys watch these anyway. So it's not like I'm letting down a huge audience. But I am. I do appreciate the fact that I do have like a core audience that seem to appreciate my content and like it. Big shout out to Ryan who watches all my videos. God knows why, but he does. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there now. I'm off to play a session. Take care, and we'll see you all next week. Bye bye for now.